On today's video, I will answer the questions about the city defense. Which is the best one? Which equipment should you be crafting? Which talent tree you should use? Watch this video until the end to find all the answers you needed. Let's go! Hello everyone and welcome back to Wick Gaming. Defending your city is extremely important, but not defending your city is even more important because you need to be an experienced player and really know what to do and how to do it in order not to put yourself in a dangerous situation. Many factors can drive against you: the territory you are located in, particular situations like war frenzy, the king's skill in prison, just to mention some. So let's start with a bit of guidelines on what to do in case of a city attack situation. 1. If you want to take a rally, make sure that your defense is properly set on your wall. 2. Try not to get rallied if your power is below 75 million. This particular point depends, of course, on the situation. You can potentially have a much lower power if you are not in KVK and your kingdom is relatively young. 3. If you plan on being hit until a certain point of your health bar, like 50%, which is optimal if you are not winning, make sure you can use a peace shield afterwards. For this reason, you must absolutely avoid the temptation of scouting the enemy rally or start any active PvP action on the field. On this point, remember never to deactivate the War Frenzy notification, this one right here. It's very useful and it can save your city. If you deactivate it and you are in the middle of a field fight, it can happen that you mistakenly drag your march onto an enemy. In that moment, you can be sure that a king will imprison you if you are outside your territory, and there is very little to do at that point. You will forcefully eat quite a few rallies and your city may potentially be zeroed. 4. If you are forced to take rallies, always remember to heal your hospital in the downtime where your city is not under siege. Just have a quick hand every time you need. Let's now speak about the best city defense combination in Rise of Kingdoms, YSS and Theodora. Two leadership commander, which is convenient considering the fact that every single city in the game has mixed troops. So far in Rise of Kingdoms, we do not have a function that allows us to select the troops that will garrison our wall. That will be dope, to be honest. Anyway, is there a reason why you should pick one of the two to be a primary commander over the other? Not in this particular case, but normally there is. Don't get fooled by the fact that the two commanders have the same identical talent trees. There are some situations that may lead you to prefer one commander over the other to be primary. For example, in Canyon, many players use Richard and Leonidas. Which would you prefer to be primary? I will personally go with Richard primary because he will be able to heal your troops before Leonidas fires off his active AoE skill. In this way, Leonidas will deal more damage because simply he has more troops to fire his active skill with. Yes, it's a slight difference, maybe not extremely relevant if you have just one of the two commanders with 6 stars and level 60 and you're forced in one direction, but in the end game, every little improvement matters. In this specific case, having YSS on the front of your wall is not making any big difference compared to having Theodora, both looking at the talents and at the skills. If we had, for example, a substantial debuff in YSS active skill, then we would of course prefer him to be at the front in order for Theodora to deal more damage to the debuffed targets. Or maybe we could think about which is the best timing to clear the control effects thanks to Theodora's active skill. But at the end, your skill cycle will in most of cases be slower than the enemies, and in the long run, that will not matter if Theodora is primary or secondary. And this was about the primary commander choice. I hope my reasonings were clear. What about the talents now? As we already said, they are both leadership, Garrison, and defense commanders. This is a Garrison, so let's start from the left, Garrison 3. I immediately will go with Impregnable here, because reducing the damage, the skill damage, is one of the best way to reduce the amount of injuries you get. Very early on this channel, I demonstrated mathematically that the skill damage is actually causing severely wounded units and consequently dead troops in a higher ratio compared to normal attacks. This was a few months ago, but I think it has not changed as of today. Then I would absolutely go and pick Nowhere to Turn in order to have more rage when your city is attacked. Know Thy Enemy is very good, but implies picking up Watchtower talents right here that we don't need, because at the end it's not something that helps you in a city fight, even if it should be supposed to help. So we do not pick Know Thy Enemy. Going on the defense tree, I will pick Loose Formation for the exact same reasons as before, and then going all the way to Medicinal Supplies. Balance right here is good, but it's not what you should be looking for in a city fight, so I will just skip it. The leadership tree is in normal situations quite underwhelming, with a few exceptions like having Trajan on the field, but in this particular case, in a city full of different troops, it really helps out. I will for this reason go all the way to the talents that grant you the bonuses for multiple troop types, such as Armed to the Teeth, right here. So when armies led by this commander contain 3 or more different unit types, all damage dealt is increased by 3%. And then I will also go to Strategic Prowess here, to increase your defense every skill cycle. After picking up Burning Blood and Master Armorer, I will spend the remaining point on some health right here. This truly works well, but there are alternatives, like going for Armored to the Teeth instead of Armed to the Teeth on the right side, and also giving up the defense here, Strategic Prowess, to go for the Tetsudo formation. Generally, I will try to balance offense and defense and never let the garrison go below 50% health if the rally is winning. If the rally is losing by a good bit, then you can continue, and it's up to the opponent to decide if it's worth continuing or cancelling the rally, but always check your hospitals, especially against commander like Attila and Takeda, which notoriously are the best commanders to rally a city with, because of their high casualty potential. Check my rally ratings if you want more info about that, card up on the top. Now the part you're probably most waiting for, the equipment. For the city defense, you should balance your equipment according to the ratio of troops that you have in your city. Therefore, you can tweak and change a couple items according to how many units you have of a certain kind. Of course, you should prefer the items that give you buffs for every type of troops, except of course siege units. I'm gonna give you now 2 solutions. The first for free-to-play and low spenders, and the second for mid and high spenders. You can of course mix the 2 solutions according to the amount of legendary pieces that you can produce. For a free-to-play, I will suggest to have the full revival set, possibly with leadership talents, which is surprisingly great, giving you the set bonuses to all of your troops, plus the Heart of the Saint or the Golden Age as weapon, depending on if you have more cavalry or more archers, and the Shield's Return as shoes, which is one of the very few legendaries that are relatively cheap and most of the players already have because the blueprint is very easy to obtain. As concerned the very best equipment for mid and high spenders, that will be the Helm of the Eternal Empire with alternatively the Khan's Pride if you're cavalry heavy, paired with the Boots of the Eternal Empire, giving you a plus 3% troop defense, which is for every unit type, not only for infantry. Then the Hop Clock is a great solution, giving you full defensive stats all over the board. Same story about the Eternal Knight for the legs. And the weapon should be a Dragon's Breath bow, paired with the Dragon's Breath gloves if you are archer heavy, to obtain an extra 3% attack for all the troops. Alternative for the archer set gloves is the Navarre's Control. The amount of statistics you have this way will be insane. To conclude, you should use the city skin that balances the unit type that you have the less behind your walls. So, I hope this video was helpful and I clarified your ideas on how to defend your city in the best possible way. Remember that new equipments should be added sometime soon into the game. I don't have any information regarding this, it's just my guess, and of course things might change, but it will be my priority to present you updated videos with new solutions for your commanders. Thanks for being here. I remember that you can support the channel for free just by leaving a like and subscribing. As always, I will see you on the next one. Ciao!